Gonna record. So we'll have after lifetime access, all forever have these recordings. You'll have the transcripts, you'll have the notes, workbooks, all the things that you need to make sure that you're skyrocketing your productivity over the next. Okay, there's Andrea. Some people are just coming in. Oh my gosh. Are you okay if you I love it. This is what it's the lunch and learn. Of course. Hi, Skip. So good to see you. Yes, this should be like a really comfy, cozy learning. You're going to have this, make yourself at home. This is about you guys. This is not about me. Okay. Hi, Andrea. Yay. Okay. So we're going to get started in 1 minute and kick off. I'm going to share my screen just so we make sure this is all working. And how does the sound? Can everyone hear me okay? All right. I'm very excited. I upgraded the mic from the lightning lesson. There was some feedback issues, so you tell me how it sounds. And we're going to get started. Today, I'm very excited because as of like 10 minutes before the lesson, I went in and updated something. I have a $1 billion prompt that I'm going to throw at you today that's going to be very cool. So I'm super pumped to get started here. And I'm going to share my, there we go. So 3 people are in the waiting room. This is why today, next week, we'll have a producer that will be able to do all this for me. So I'm not toggling and distracting everyone. Here we go. Okay. We'll get everyone into the session. Awesome. Keep an eye. Okay. Beautiful. Welcome to everyone that's just joining. We're going to kick off. Hi, Tim. Hi, everyone. First of all, I'm really proud of each one of you because you're the early adopters in this world. You're taking, you know that there's something there. It's, there's a lot of comments being like, I don't know what I don't know. And that's what these sessions are. This course is being like, here's what's available to you. Here's what you can do. And then I will show you a step by step. So we're going to, one more person is jumping in, Nicole. And this is what this whole course is designed. Now, I've taken tons and tons of courses, and the one thing that no one is talking about is to make AI work for you, your personality, your brain, the way you do things, and to keep the authenticity. They're throwing out tools every day. You can do this tool and you can try this, and it's really overwhelming. And so, what I really have spent the last 3 years deeply understanding how the tools work, but also how do we pair them up to work for you and to be able to focus on the work that you have the greatest impact. It's changing the world rapidly. And it's nothing to be scared of, but it's an opportunity to really look at what am I doing? What is out there, and picking some of the tools. So today's session is really, really just about looking at what are the quick wins, what are the things that are out there so that you can start using this new muscle of working, because it is very awkward. I know when I started, it feels different, it's exciting, but it's just to see what's out there. Now, this is what the course essentially is. And so that you can kind of see where we're heading, which direction we're going, where we're building from. So today is getting you with immediate results. Here are 10 tools. I'm going to walk through 10 tools, what they can do for you, whether you're working a full-time job, whether you have a side hustle, whether you have a business, whether you're working remotely, all these things, whether you're leading a company, all these things will kind of get you thinking, oh, this is a new way I can implement and save time, but also make sure that keeping that humanness of you. The second thing is the $1 billion, I think, lottery ticket here is building the system that works for you. I have ADHD. I build my system very quick, get things quickly and accessible. Some people have a more systematic approach where they want color coded and organized. I need keywords. So this is where Thursday session is I'm going to start getting you, you're going to have some homework today, building out your system. So getting all the information. AI, all the tools do not work for you unless you do this step. And this is the step everyone I jump on courses I learn from. It's crazy, but they're missing this. And this is why I think this course is going to be so valuable, is because you're going to have your brain in a very safe spot that you can access to then speak to the tools. So that is the number 2 part of the course on Thursday we're going to look at. And then the biggest thing people say, well, AI doesn't really sound like me. And it's because we didn't do number 2. So once we're done number 2, 3 is we're going to customize everything based on how you talk, having a style guide, how you think, what are your goals. You want to make sure that this is your mission in the work that you're doing and that it comes through. And so that is where there's tools that we can build out what we call your second brain to be your co-partner. And that's where the magic totally is unlocked. And it's really exciting because there's a lot of tools out there. I'm going to show you 1 or 2 that you can really start playing with, just to keep it simple. And then, as things move along, I will always update you through email or whatever. If we're interested in building a community, I'll keep everyone up to date, being like, hey, check this out, because what I'm teaching today will be tweaked over the next couple of months because things are moving so fast. And then the last but not least, the last session, you're going to come in and we're going to build out a workflow. So depending on the nature on how you work, we're going to string together a whole bunch of tools that you get that perfect output, that perfect result that's going to work for you, that you're not bashing your head, yelling at ChatGPT to try again, rewrite it. No, that doesn't sound like me. Make it this, make it that. That wastes so much time. So this is where we take it. You're here, you're live, and we're building the system systematically, one after another, to build off each other. So the last step, what everyone's racing to get, we have all of that set up for yourselves. And again, don't beat yourself up if rebuilding your system takes longer after the course. That's okay. But we're going to just get the first steps to it to understand the framework. So I promise today that you are going to have some real wins. You'll be able to find your unique path and what's going to work for you. But first, the biggest thing is I don't know what I don't know. And so instead of taking all the time to deep dive into all these tools, we're just going to do a really overview of them. And then at the end of the session, I'm going to actually walk you through an example of how someone starting out using all these tools, what that workflow will look like, so that at the end of the course, you will be able to build your own. How does that sound? Yes, yes. Put it in the chat how you're feeling in an emoji or whatever, or a reaction on how you're feeling about moving. Are you a little nervous? Are you excited? Are you thinking, oh my goodness, how much am I going to learn by the end of this? Put in the chat. Please share any questions. I am so excited that you're here, and I'm so grateful that I have this opportunity to share this with you. So we're going to work with getting things from being overwhelmed. I don't know when you see this picture, I was playing around and we'll show you how I built it, but I'm curious what you think about this picture, because I was thinking of human AI. Does it freak you out, or does it kind of get you excited and see the relationship? I'm curious where we're going to go. It's like a combination. So this course, and it's very important that we all recognize that this is not for tech experts. It's to take what you know right now and to skyrocket your human intelligence, and to take it as this is your creative partner. It's helping you to amplify what you have and not to replace. And that is where I really strongly sit. This is the mission of the work that I do, that help you, is to take you and amplify the work that you're doing. So these are the demos or quick little things we're going to go over today. I have vetted thousands and thousands of tools. I'm working all the time with companies trying different tools out. And there's lots of tools, different stages. If you're an enterprise, you might be using something more on the lead generation side. This is for individual users, things you can jump in and try right away today. And I'm going to just first look at what you don't know, what are the capabilities of these different tools. So the first thing is, here are my favorite top 10 toolkits that are going to give you wins. Now, when we're going through this, I want you to really think the work that you're doing, how this could fit. So while you're going, oh, we have a student coming in. While you're going, I want you to ask the question after. And keep in mind, you have 1 hour, I do the lesson, but I'm going to stay for an extra 30 minutes every single lesson. So if anyone wants to sit and ask questions or just want to, reiterate something, I will always stay. And so that 30 minutes after the call, after the 1 hour, I'm here to support you. But I know everyone's busy, so there is no pressure for that. Welcome, Rebecca. So today we're going to jump in, give you your quick wins. What do these tools do and how can they work for you? So in the chat, I really want to know who has used Perplexity. Just, you're new to it. You've never heard of it. You want to give it a try. Okay, Carl, yes. Nope. Oh, yes. Okay. This is great. This is going to be really powerful in your workflow because what this Perplexity is perfect for, and I will give you my slide deck. I will give you everything. So feel free. We're recording it. I will give you all this so you have it. I also will have a worksheet that you can fill out as you're learning, going, use cases, all the materials that you need. And if there's anything after this that you want me to do, I also have the prompts that I'll be using throughout at the end. So everything you'll have to rock and roll. So Perplexity is perfect right now for quick research. It will help you with understanding real-time things like, how can I, and we'll look at actually a use case, for example. So the challenges it solves, you can go through tons and tons and tons of websites by asking a question. I call Perplexity Chrome or Google on steroids. When you type into Google, you're asking it for a question, then you have to go through all the links and figure out which one's best for you. Perplexity does all that for you and then puts a summary of all the top research that you ask with citations and with links. So if you look and you click and you're grabbing something and you see down at the bottom there's Wikipedia, you're like, okay, I didn't want that. I need everything from, let's say I'm looking at something, New York Times, something more reputable, whatever it is you're looking for research on something. It is, just think of it as Google on steroids. And for people that are using it, it's built off language models that we're going to look at. So behind is ChatGPT, Claude. I don't find it very emotionally intelligent. It's just to give you very quick facts, and that's when I use it, and it's great. And we're going to look at how it's used. You get to use it for free until you're like, oh my goodness, I can't live without it. And like all the AI tools, then you upgrade for a monthly subscription. And I believe it's my notes, my closed captions are hiding it. What does it say? I'm trying to move it. I can't see my, there we go. Okay. So Perplexity is the first one. So this is how I would use, before I keep going, I'm actually going to move my, there we go. Going to move my closed captioning to another monitor. There we go. Okay. So Perplexity, I like to walk through how do you use it? So you ask a complex question. So you put in any research question, it will give you an immediate answer based on all the sources there. And then it will verify credibility based on what you want. And then you use that information for decision making. So if I'm doing a blog post, I might want some research on market trends. I'll go to Perplexity. It will help me validate what I'm thinking and gives me resources and then takes me to an authoritative, reputable source that I personally can read and make sure. It's taking all the time away from going crazy searching for things and trying to find something reputable. It's at your fingertips. It's powerful. And you can try it today for free. And we're going to walk through a user case at the end, but I just want to show you all the tools that are there that I use all day, every day, back and forth. So this would be an example of, let's say I have to write an article on thought leadership for LinkedIn. I would use Perplexity to generate a fully researched article on the future of productivity tools in remote work. And then I ask it for citations. So that would be one question that I would put in, and you will be blown away with the results that it gives. And that's the first step. But that's only one little piece of it, of the puzzle. But that has been a game changer for making sure that, concepts or ideas that you are thinking, you have validation. Okay, so taking it a next step further, there's Gemini AI. So Gemini is a Google product. If anyone has been on Google Drive, you'll see Gemini at the top. You'll see Geminis everywhere. It's interesting with all these AI tools, they have like, I call it their mascot AI. So they've named it. So every product has like, Microsoft has Copilot. Google has Gemini. We have Anthropic has Claude. We have all these names. So you'll start to see, and the to know it's the name, there's a little sparkle. It looks like a little sparkle, and that's your AI. And we'll look at it, and that's where it's speaking to everything, and you can ask it very conversational questions. So why I use Gemini AI if I'm going to go deep into something, it does a very, very comprehensive research that takes a little bit longer. You can see. So I had a question. I was working with a client in healthcare. I wanted to get some really good research on something to do with I'm trying to think, what it was, understanding, let's say, we were looking at ADHD, and I wanted something from doctor's reports. I wanted really complex research on it and new. So it takes a little bit more time, and we're going to look at it, but it does a multi-step research. So you get to see, I will ask it a question and it will go through, it shows you, it's going through and it's reading 100, 200, 300 websites. And you can see they list every single one of them. So it's Perplexity on steroids. You can see as you're leveling up. What I love about it is that the deep research is one of the tools on Gemini. Gemini is also integrates everything on Google Docs, which we're going to get into tomorrow. Can everyone put in the chat who would like tomorrow? Are you using OneNote with Microsoft or Google Drive? Because that's really going to be our command center that we're going to build. Your whole brain is going to be sitting somewhere. So how does everyone feel about tomorrow building in Google Drive? Okay, OneNote, Google Drive, both awesome. OneNote, Google Drive, Google over OneNote. Okay, so what I will do is OneNote is awesome, but Google Drive, I'm betting on Google Drive to be the better command center for tomorrow's demo. I can look, so anyone that's using OneNote, we can do something together and I can help you with. But tomorrow's demo, we're going to try Google Drive because it's crazy. You can now speak to your Google Drive, and we're going to go in that tomorrow. So Gemini is the Google AI that is very, very powerful. And I didn't like it for a while, and now it's taking off and it's really impressing me in what it's doing. And so that's for deep research. Anyone is going into deep research. So for example, you put in your complex research question, then it will gathers and analyzes from multiple sources. So again, Perplexity is that quick, fast research. This goes a little deeper. And when I say a little deeper, it's like hundreds of websites it goes through. And then it will put together an entire comprehensive report that I know in university. I did this and I would spend 3 weeks doing. It does it in 10 minutes and it will count down for you. And it's mind blowing. So what is it, $100,000 degree that I learned how to do, I can do in 10 minutes now. So it's changing everything way we're working. But at the end of the day, it's the outcome. What do we do with these key findings, this research to help amplify the work that we're doing? And so at the end of the day, it makes each one of us to make better decisions and faster to have deeper understanding of the people that we're helping and how we're navigating it. So that will be the next one. And yes, someone just wrote, when you say tomorrow, you mean Thursday. Yes, I'll keep saying tomorrow. Clearly, I'm so excited. I want to jump on tomorrow. But yes, Thursday, giving you a day. So here's a perfect example how I would use Gemini. Do a deep dive market trends on AI adoption among small businesses and create a summary report with actionable insights. And it will be wild. And I'm going to go and show you after, but I just don't want to jump around too much. I want to give you everything first. Okay, the next one is, how many people have ever heard of HeyGen? And again, I'm throwing all the tools your way so you can think over the next 2 weeks what you want to be diving into. No. Okay, nope. Awesome. No, this is awesome. I love the no's because yes from you. Okay. So for some of you that know it, maybe you're just dabbling in it, what HeyGen is doing, and it's crazy. And I have gone through a lot of it. Really, it's very careful to make sure that you're training on actually you give it authorization. So it's very careful about building your avatar. So essentially, and I blown away, but I have a friend that's Spanish. I speak such little Spanish, but I wanted to send him a video. And so just for fun, I went on and like it was 12 o'clock at night. I typed in what I wanted to say to him. And because I trained it, it trained on my face, how I talk, my mannerisms, everything. I had my own avatar to go and speak to him and send him a little message. And he was like, your Spanish is unreal. I was like, it's not me. Yes, Carl, you saw it. I will show you all of these things. It's wild. So I feel that we have to make decisions. And this is where I stop and I say, okay, do we want to create, an avatar for us to be replaceable to go on calls? No, I really like the human element. But is it helpful when I'm doing training videos to give out to 100 people how to walk through something? Maybe that's valuable. And these are the things we have to really stop and think the challenge it solves versus is it actually helping humanity? Is it changing the way we work? Is it helping people? And so these are the tools that are there. It is incredible. You can try the free trial, it's limited, but I love to use it to interact for different languages. And also it's been really helpful for putting a little trailer together or something for my podcast if I can't run to the studio and record something. So there's lots of different ways you can use it. So how the quick win, and you'll have all this. So when you want to start it, you're going to create an avatar or make your own avatar. You put a video script that maybe you wrote or just for fun, you put in a message, and then you literally click generate video. And it will create it. Obviously, if you're training it on you, there's a lot more that goes into it because you have to upload all that data. But again, those are the workflows that I can help walk you through. I've spent way too many hours on it and excited to show you what you can do. Yes, so privacy concerns around HeyGen, you will see there's a ton of authentication that's required. You have to fill out all the stuff. You have to, before you go in, you have to talk to it and make sure you're giving permission for them to look at you. So yes, I would say if that is a concern, I always say use a avatar that they've already built and has it as a co-pilot until you feel comfortable. So yes, I would say I'm really impressed with, verification. It's not like someone can go in and pretend they're Claire. It would be near impossible because I think that's the biggest concern with this kind of stuff is all this doubling. So here is, create a 30-second video for a coaching service using AI avatar speaking directly to the audience in multiple languages. That's kind of cool. If you want to have people coming into your training, you use different avatars, and it's an opportunity to reach a global audience, test it out, see how it works. So it's really about figuring out what the problem you're trying to solve and finding the tool that matches it. You may never use this and have no interest, but it's just to see what's there, what can work in your workflow. So I'm not going to lie, this one has blown me away. I used it when it first came out, and it is now skyrocketing. So it is focused just on creating your ideal voice. I will say I spent a couple hours training it. It is able to see your free meeting is, this is crazy. So Baven, I'm worried about this, everyone. Do you see that the meeting is ending in 10 minutes? It is on my end. So if that happens, just log back in. For whatever reason, Maven sent out a free login that it populated, and I have to figure that out. So I apologize. This is the first time using this. So if I lose you, just click back into that same link. Sound good? Or go on to Maven. I'll have that message. So it's saying, which is so frustrating. I'm wondering if, okay. Yeah, it says 9 minutes left to go. That's wrong because I have the paid one that we should have unlimited time. But if that's the case, I'll follow it with Maven. So ElevenLabs is absolutely perfect. It's wild for creating your voice. I've tested it. I will be honest. I don't know how I feel. I've built multiple podcasts in my voice. It even anticipates my breathing. If I cough, it will enter everything. I've trained it so it's like my best friend had no idea it was AI. So how do I feel about that? I'm not sure. I haven't actually used it other than, showing people how it's used, but I would love your opinion and your thoughts because these are part of the process is thinking, when do you use it? And so my biggest thing is what's the problem I'm solving? And how does it help? Is it the medium or is it the message that's more important? So these are conversations we can have and to figure out what works. And again, it all comes down to what you are comfortable with. It supports 32 languages, which is wild, and it will clone in seconds. If you just put in 5 minutes of you talking, it will spit out something and you can test it. I will say, the paid one will be the game changer. The intro one is more if you want to be a robotic reading a book kind of feel of your voice. So it depends on what you're hoping for. Yes, and for voiceovers, it might be interesting, but somewhat spooky if someone else invents stuff in your voice. I agree, but this is where ElevenLabs and HeyGen does not. There's so much verification. They need to see you. They hear. There's too many levels for. I hope that doesn't happen, but I feel like this is where we're entering the world of making sure that we're very careful what we put in for these training models. So tread carefully, use what's there, and just, be very ask it the questions. Be a critical thinker when you're using these tools. So essentially what you can do is you can have a pre-made voice that I use as onboarding people or something that they know it's not me, it's an AI, but it's giving instructional. You put in text and then it will generate the audio. One fun, cool thing, ElevenLabs and HeyGen speak to each other. So you can build out the voice in ElevenLabs and have it feeding into your HeyGen video because HeyGen specializes on video and ElevenLabs specializes on voice. I think it's a matter of time that they're going to come together in some capacity. But that's kind of the workflow that I've tried. So this could be you have a book and you need someone else to read it. Let's say for whatever reason you have to it's a turnaround in 24 hours and you get laryngitis, you can't talk. Well, you have ElevenLabs to go in and just read out your guide or your short ebook that sounds like you, that you can still deliver and not be held back on the process. That would be a demo that I would use. This is my favorite tool of all time. This is Descript. This is my favorite tool of all time because for the first time ever, how many people yes, Leah, or you can sign. I agree. This is this is great. Um Leah, you might have to do an ASL video for us. So what you can do with Descript that is a game changer. How many of you have sat down, made a video, and tried to edit in, let's say, on your phone or iMovie or Final Cut or anything? How many people have tried to do that? And if you're like me, you want to hit the computer and smash it because everything you do, it's not lining up, it's not working. How many people have tried to edit something and they just give up? Or it's like it takes too much time. Yes, if you're like me, it is so draining. And I'm going to show you. And throughout the course, anything you want demos in the half hour after, stick around and it's like, Claire, can you show me this? Can you show me that? I just don't want to take away from people wanting demos on the wrong tools. What it does is instead of, here, I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to show you first what it can do, but it will, the game changer for me is that you record into it. It's recording your face. You're talking while you're talking. It's typing out the transcript. If you press pause and you're like, why did I say that or whatever, you can just highlight the sentence and it deletes out of the script, deletes out of the video, and it's gone. So you're because I'm very text based. I need to read text to see what I'm saying. And if I write something, I'm like, oh, that's wrong. You can just highlight it and delete it. This is how I do my podcast with my editor. She goes in and there's something else. It's wild. If you're someone that naturally is saying but, it will trigger. It'll say you've used yes, Leah, I think it's a matter of time that there's something for sign language to have that. Hey, I think you should build it personally. So, what I find has been really helpful. I realized when I'm doing a podcast, I said, something like 57 times in 20 minutes. Well, that is extremely alarming and it recognize how I speak and it seems condescending. So I was like, so now I practice not saying it. I'm testing myself how many times I can get the countdown, but I can just go in and say, it'll say, do you want to delete 57 knows? It deletes it instantly. So that would be a great, like for me, that was everything else is bonus. So if I'm reading something, this is great. There's lots of research. I don't want to dive too much in, but there's tons of research that if you are making eye contact, talking to the screen, people are really engaged. So there is something, if you're reading a blog, they really want to hear that blog. A lot of newsletters are starting to integrate mediums of all different accessibilities. You send out the blog, it gets the audio. You can use ElevenLabs, or you could just sit here and read the blog and Descript, then takes your eyeballs and shifts them a bit so you're looking at the audience. I think that's really cool and also crazy. So these are all the things I'm going to give them to you. You can check them out and try them. But Descript is, I would say, the one-stop shop. It also, if you have it, it will take out and we'll look at it. It will look at your 30 minutes of script and say, based on your audience, this is going to be the one that will resonate, this sentence, and it will star it. It'll give it level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars, and it turns it into an Instagram reel that you can put out onto Instagram and tease out your podcast episode. It's wild what it can do. Yes, Skip. Did I just say like a whole bunch of times? Sorry. I'm working on, oh, okay. But I work really hard on these because now I have these tools to kind of give me scorecards on, hey, how can I, or I take the script and do you know when I said there's Gemini for Google and then there's Claude for Anthropic. For Descript, it's called Underlord. I love it. So I will go into the script. I'll ask the Underlord, act like this person and tell me, have I been, inclusive? Is there language that I could change? Is there something I could improve on the script? Am I delivering value? So it's fascinating. You get real time feedback on how you're working. And I love that because I'm always wanting a soundboard. How can I improve? So there's tons of things. Again, I couldn't speak. I'm not an ambassador for Descript, but I love it. It's my favorite. So let's walk through how it works is you can import an audio or a video file from your computer, from your phone, from a voice note, anything. And then you can then get it, you can edit it, like I said, deleting text, however you want to do it. And then you can add AI enhancements. So there's a studio sound effect. If it takes out white noises, you want filler words removed. And then you get Rebecca, welcome. I apologize. I was just saying to everyone that Maven defaulted to the free version. So we now have another 40 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay, I jumped ahead. So this is where you can have branded captions and you can have everything at your fingertips with content going out at rapid speed, repackaging. And there's a great new product coming out that is called repurpose.io for anyone that is interested. Your screen is paused. Why? Okay, here we go. Now, I'm curious, has anyone used this product? Has anyone used Descript or heard of it? This is why I will have a producer on the next call so these things don't keep happening. Here we go. Desktop 2, share. Okay, so the next product we're going to go into, I'm just going to do this for now. The next product is Claude.ai. How many people, and I know last time Claude AI we talked about on the lightning lesson. Did anyone after go and check it out? And yes, on it, presentation mode. There we go. Sorry, Skip. Thanks. Did anyone go and check it out? Not yet. Okay. This is where I will say between Descript and Claude, I spend 90% of my time. Claude is advanced. It's the most emotional, intelligent language model for having conversations and for understanding you. When I use, preferred Perplexity, maybe wrong context. So, Carl, great question. I use Perplexity to get the research, and then I take the research and turn it into a beautifully crafted blog post or article or something that really resonates with my audience. And so I'll go from Perplexity to take research, kind of the numbers, the data, and then I'll put it into Claude. So that's kind of we'll look at the use case. But why it's so powerful is that it can do, it's very private. It has, if you look at Anthropic, they are really about the human AI partnership. It is able to do tons of stuff, but it only is based on what you feed it. It's not on the internet. It's not training on data. It's whatever you feed it. And I really like that because it's maintaining the context that you give it, only you give it. It's not hallucinating and it's not spitting out weird things like you might find in ChatGPT when you ask it a question. It's gathering all this information and kind of diluting it. So it's really good for exceptional conversations and very much more aligned to the human AI partnership element, which we are going to go deep into on session 3. This is where I'm going to teach you and build everything about what you do and how you get it out into the world, into that personal assistant, so that you can have a conversation all the time with it, that it really keeps you. And again, it stays private. It's not published. It's not used on training. And after 30 days, it disappears. So there's a lot of wins about this. Anthropic's spending a lot of time on this. So this is something I used all day long, and to the point, I will tell you, I've purchased 2 to 3 other, because I run out of it using it. I've bought other subscriptions so that when I run out of it, I can jump onto another one because I'm using it so much, so you can get a sense. Okay. Oh, Nicole, the lawyer in the group. I love this. So what AI has done is, right now it's for people, what's happened with AI, it's the wild, wild west. And so there is actually no, depending on where you are, where you're located, each area has its own rules. And so this is where, depending on what you're using, what you want to be using, you're limited based on your area and based on what the ruling is. So they have their own AI ethical principles that they follow, that you can see. A lot of AI platforms still do not have this. They're wanting to get as many users in. And so I will send you over everything, Nicole, about this, because it is actually why I like this platform, because of their ethical, where they stand on using the AI in the interface. So Claude, you use your, it is the challenge, sorry, it is your problem solving expert. When you want to query something, you're working on something, you have a hypothesis on something, it's a great soundboard. It's kind of your smartest person, you can go sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. Can you be the devil's advocate in this situation and ask me everything that I should be considering to make this the best outcome? It is very brilliant. It's wild, and you can actually feed it a whole bunch of knowledge that it will build off. Again, ChatGPT is great, but the problem is, if you're not using the paid one, it's just grabbing everything, it's diluting the answers, and it can hallucinate. So we'll look at how it's used and how it can be used for your day-to-day usage. But again, you never ever want to keep all of your information, all of your data on one of these tools, because like I said, they change, they delete after 30 days. So that's why you pick a cloud computing space like Drive or OneNote or something where you're always going to keep that information, just in case these tools, they're agile, they're moving quickly. You never want to put everything in there. That's something I've learned. So this is why I love it. I will tell you that I did all these steps to get outreach to 1,100 people sign up for this AI course, the lightning lesson. Claude helped me, and I'm going to show you the $1 billion prompt today. You're going to walk away with it, and you're going to play it, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh. It did a email sequence for a product and with personalized messaging for different audience personas. Now, this question here is, for some companies, is upwards of $12,000 to $100,000 for focus groups to go in and ask these questions. We now have this access so that you're not writing to hypotheticals out into the world or an audience that you think or you're imagining. There's real data, there's real audience. And this is why I love it, is because gone are the days just selling. You're actually speaking to the pain points of the person on the other side. And it could be as simple as responding to a really hard email that someone sent and putting yourself into their shoes, which sometimes we all have a hard time understanding the other side. Or we have a mass audience that we need to speak to and understanding what a whole bunch of pain points are. So this is where this is going to be really cool. We're going to look at that. Gamma. Everything I am working on today is built into Gamma AI. How many people have a great idea? They want to share with the world something really cool and they're like, ooh, but I'm really bad at designing. And then I'm not sure if how my information is going to look. And we all know when it's laid out in a nice way, it's a game changer for the learner. And someone has a background in high school teaching. I worked with a lot of students with different needs and abilities and challenges. And we need to now live in a world where we provide that accessibility. And so it's so important that you have that. So Gamma, it's wild, but I will show you the quick win. You can start with providing a topic, or I will put together in a Google Drive an entire, this is the presentation I'm doing, this is what I want, blah, blah. I put it in, and Gamma with my prompt saying, I need it to be accessible, I need to have lots of visual. It's a one click and it creates this document. I've trained it on the images, on my colors, on everything. So it is game changing for actually creating a presentation. And people always ask, why not Canva? Canva's fantastic, but Canva pushes you to be a little more customized. The AI built into presentations for Canva is actually still kind of clunky. That's not their specialty yet. And if anyone has used Canva Magic for presentation, it's not where it needs to be. Gamma is amazing, and you can really customize and make sure that it aligns with your brand. And it's especially good for people moving quickly. They have to give a presentation on a topic, and they can refine it. So you can pull it as a PowerPoint. You can put it into Google Slides. You can have it as a shareable link. You can connect it to your Google Drive. So it's very agile and where it can be used depending on who your audience is. So I've built on Gamma. I download it to the desktop as a PowerPoint so that I'm offline using it. So I'm not relying on, if there's any connectivity issues, etc. So I have done this and it is amazing. After this conversation, I can show you. I can grab the whole script of a webinar I gave, and it will turn into a worksheet from the webinar for people with a really nice presentation like that. It's magic. It is so awesome. How are we for time? Okay, awesome. Again, I'm moving quickly because I want you to know what's out there, and then we will build from there. Again, I am always available to ask for you to ask questions after this and sit and go through some things. The next one is Fireflies. And I'm just nervous. I just got nervous a second. Am I recording? I want to make sure I'm really recording this. Because darn thing. I think. You're recording. Okay, thank you. There's too many screens up in front of me. Thank you. Okay. Huh. Okay, so Fireflies is wild because I'll have conversations that I'm so immersed in. And again, I love immediate feedback. It's the ultimate note taker. And what it does is that it will, and if this is something that really drains you, again, not everyone needs this. All these tools are just options based on your pain points where you're struggling. What it does, it eliminates you taking all these notes. And after it gives you the transcript, it will tell you the sentiment analysis, like negativity in the call was 4%, 57% was positive, and neutral was the whatever, the minus 100. And it is amazing because it gives a summary of the call. It gives action items, who needs to do what to follow up. And you just send it off to them, a link, and everyone on the team gets it. And they know exactly, there's no confusion in spending time putting everything together. So I use for everything to have that connects to all of my calls, everything I'm doing, so that you can have that. Can it do it for past recordings or only in the moment? I believe the new function you can import a call, but again, a lot of the LLMs, so like Claude or Descript, you can just do that and run it with prompts saying, could you give me the action items? Can you do this? So you can have a prompt that always after a call. There's a very free way to go, a workaround that you can take after the call, put it in, but I like to move quickly. If I have 5 meetings in one day, I'm not sitting and ever following up at each one. I send out the link. So yes, there's lots of little workarounds for that. So it will automatically connect to whatever platform you're using for a call. Again, I was saying they haven't integrated with the voice flow yet with a phone call, but there is something. I just record phone calls now. There, if you have an iPhone, that's a new addition. You can click record, and it goes right into your notes. Then I take those notes and I throw them in and into a prompt, and it spits out everything that my audience or whoever I'm meeting with needs. It will do an automatic transcription, a summary, and then review and share. And it's also really interesting to be like, wow, I'm a talker. And sometimes I look around, I'm like, oh, okay. I spoke the entire time on a sales call. That is not okay. That's the rule of number one. So it's actually really helpful to get feedback on. There's a lot of data now to give feedback based on your performance. Um, Record a mock call, client call, generate a transcription. This is perfect. And it will give you, like, I will do a pretend sales call and it will score me and being like, hey, here's an example how to improve the script or whatnot. So there's lots of cool ways to use it. This is a really cool new one. I'm not going to go diving deep into it. I am currently working with the founder on this. This is going to change everything for small businesses. Ideally, it is the bookkeeper on steroids. So anyone that feels that they can't keep on top of all the allocations of personal expenses versus business, all this stuff, it's the pre-AI capture that goes to the accountant. So if you're interested, this is a lot of this is that this one's is not super public yet, but I have a link for you to use. I'm using it. It's wild. Any of my activity on my email, it's now connecting with bank. It's secure. I will send you all that information. If you're not comfortable, that's okay. But this is the opportunity that's coming out now that for those of you that feel QuickBooks, is that what you mean? I just want to make sure, Carl, did I miss that? Or did I skip that question? Sorry. Yes, QuickBooks. It interacts with QuickBooks. Yes, it's awesome. So if you're using QuickBooks, it is like your accountant will love you. You'll save time, you'll save money, you'll get making sure you're not missing anything when you're submitting for taxes. And yes, I will totally show you how that's working. And I'm a big fan of this product and spending a lot of time working on this software. So it will connect your email. It does automatic extraction. So it processes any receipt that ever comes through. That's the missing link that, if you have paid on PayPal or if you've paid on Apple Pay or all these places, it's all goes to one email, all of your receipts. So it's actually pulling that, and that's how it's categorizing everything. And it's mind blowing. It's pretty awesome. So if that's something you're excited about, that is the next one. So if you have a Gmail account or whatever account, it will export everything to a CSV, and then you can categorize it and give it to your accountant. The last one we talked about on the lightning lesson is the quick custom GPTs. We went into on the lightning lesson. I'm not going to go into today. I'm curious who's used it, who's trying it. It's good for the quick, organize this file into for a client follow-up on a proposal, or organize this to be more accessible to read, or add emojis. It's like that quick organizing format. Claude doesn't do a very good job formatting, so I take what Claude does and I put it over to ChatGPT to make it look pretty, essentially. And then from there, I put it into Gamma to make it extra pretty. So that's kind of the workflow that we'll go into. Because I don't want to, I really want to get in today's demo, and I will stay longer. And if anyone has to go really quickly, right at 12, let me know. But again, I'm here to answer all your questions. So who is ready to learn the newest $1 billion prompt? Okay. And bear with me. This is the one thing I don't like about this is all the toggling. So I'm sorry if it's not in perfect view for you, but you can see what I'm doing and I will follow up with you. So, okay. The first thing you're going to do, and I'm going to give you all this. This is where everything is going to change today for you. This is the $1 billion, like where people spend so much money. So this is a perfect example of something or how my brain would work or how most brains work. We sit down and we have an idea. But the thing is, we have an idea and it always starts with capturing your vision. So wherever you put it in a Google Doc, then you take it over to Claude, and I'm going to walk you through it. And then I can show you actually on the platforms what it looks like. Make it a little bigger there. Command. Okay. So is that better? Hopefully that's a little easier to read. So the first one is you write everything. This is the step that everyone misses. And I want to scream because you have to write all your worries, your concerns, how you feel. If you read through this, does anyone relate to any of this? Like, let's say I'm making an AI course, right? So things like, where are people wanting to hang out on Facebook? Do they need a certification? How do I do the email sequence? Like, you're like, oh my gosh, to create one course, you're like, oh my gosh, it's not just a course. It's, the sales funnels, the conversations. It's like, it's how do I set up the modules? How do people learn? All these things. This is where the world changes for organization. And we're going to jump is the first thing is I would ask the prompt, looking at my thoughts, please organize them into core course elements, key decisions I need to make, immediate priorities to focus on, resources I need to gather, and potential challenges to address. So it just gets, and you can have this prompt. I want you to try it. I want you to start with what we call as a brain dump. Go crazy, dump everything in. And then the next step is, okay, here are all the things I need to organize this brain dump. But this is the $1 billion. I'm so excited. I've been trying it. It's been so fun. This is where the magic happens. And it's an AI course. It's an email. It can be anything. You want to do anything here. It doesn't have to just be like what this example. So based on what it gave you, based on this prompt, based on what this done, and then it's organized it for you, you then say, based on this course outline, help me understand who needs this transformation most. Create 10 detailed personas who would be ideal students for each. This is where it's wild. It has so much deep research on understanding. It will spit out 10 personas that actually are your people. So then you can say, you can ask it from there, what's their story, their name, their current situation, daily challenges they face, and it actually understands. This is where companies spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do these focus groups. Now we get to flip the switch, ask it, who are those personas that align with? Because what you're asking isn't new information. It's all there. It just needs to come and pull it out for you. So now you have a very detailed understanding of 10 people that want to work with you, want to learn from you, want to hear from you, want to anything from you. And this is where I love it so much. Yes, Raul, question. Please speak.
Just to confirm, this
Yes.
is all happening in Claude, right? In terms of like step by step how you're working with Claude or different tools that you're using.
Yeah, great question. Great question. So you can use any platform to do this, but Claude is my favorite because it's giving the best answers. But you can do this on ChatGPT for free. Try it out. See how it works. And this is after thousands of hours. I like Claude's output, but this framework is why I always will say in like 6 months, maybe it's not Claude, maybe it will be something else. But I just give the framework of thinking so that if another tool, if I say, hey guys, like check this new tool out, you'll take this framework. So it's timeless framework for the way we use AI. I hope that makes sense. So put this into ChatGPT, put this into Claude, put it into Perplexity, see what happens, and you'll know. But I'm just trying to short circuit, all the time you spend on it, saying that Claude will be the best. So this is where you finally can write an email that actually feels like a real person on the other end because you're understanding their pain points. Come the next couple of sessions, you're going to learn how to write like you, like how it's going to write like you while pairing up with the right audience. But we can't get that far yet. So then the next step, and I'm mindful of time here, is that you then take all this information. And I'm someone that never really trust, it on the first outtake. I need to cross-reference, ask it. So then I go into, this is my workflow. I would go in, I'd say, hey, could you look at this information and show me current market data for productivity courses that do this and doesn't align? So then you go into Perplexity. And if we know it's Perplexity, it's research on steroids, it's then going to take the newest research and align that are there courses that are offered to people in my demographic, these individuals. Before, you would spend thousands and thousands of dollars of doing this process that you can now do in a half an hour so that you could really deep dive and to amplify the work that you're doing. So then I go back to Claude or ChatGPT, whatever it is. But in this case, I'm showing Claude because it's the most powerful. I will say, based on all the research and what's happening right here. Yes, Rebecca. Yes, for creating a budget, there's lots of tools. That's a great question. I'll add that into the chat. Make sure everyone's in the chat. Introduce yourself, and you'll have this recording. So based on all the research, help me create a unique value proposition, 3 key ways to this course can stand out, a pricing strategy that feels both valuable and accessible, clear, compelling messaging, specific next steps to bring to life. So this, then you take all this, and keep in mind when you do a brain dump, when you put it in, doesn't have to be organized. It can read through it. So you want to go further, and this is, I'll spend hours and hours diving deeper. How would blank respond to this? So then you come up with, it will suggest hypothetical emails that how someone would respond to this. And then you're prepared how they would think, how would they respond. So you're really taking the time to understand the user deeply to create a bigger impact. What data supports this direction? What might be missing? How can we make this more accessible? What could make this even more transformative? We're now entering the most personalized, hyper-personalized messaging that we've ever seen. And so there's no excuse anymore, in my opinion, to not go deep like this, to actually connect with your audience. So remember, this is a journey of creation and discovery. This is about making mistakes, trying it, putting this prompt into Claude and then ChatGPT and then Perplexity and being like, wow, okay, I know where I'm more comfortable with. So that wraps up here are the tools. Here's the framework to use the tools. And then we're going to dive deeper to really connect with that. So in the chat, this is mental. Please give me your feedback because we're just scratching the surface. I have so much more to share with you and how you can do it. But I'm happy to show if anyone wants to stay or ask a question like, Claire, can you actually go into the tools and go through it? Please, if you want to stay, sorry, excuse me. If you want to stay for the next half hour, you have any questions, I'm here. I'm really excited. You're gonna get a follow-up of all this stuff so you can plug and play, test it out. Any questions? Or Andrea saying this is mental made me happy because that's how I feel. Oh my gosh, this darn thing, 10 minutes. So Andrea said, yes. What's exciting for me is how it can take all the years of experience, yes, and put them together in something cohesive. That's what it is. This is where all this hard work you've done, all the hard work you can package into a book, a podcast, like the sky is the limit when it comes to this. So if you have an idea, tell me. I'll happily build out over the next couple of weeks workflows. One of the workbook suggestions is to organize emails. What would you use to do that? Ooh, depends on your personality. So that's where some people want to organize their emails, or some people just want it to be organized and you just know where to go. So I will follow up with that question. I will send you resources Fixer. There's a new waitlist called Cora. There's lots of things. Tammy, thank you so much. There's lots of different tools you can use. But again, this is where I wanted to let everyone know you'll get 30-minute free consultation with me for me to help you work on your workflow. So all these questions by the end of the course, you can set up time that I can work with you just to have something completely start to finish that can change it. And I know, Carl, you had asked workflow management. Yes. So monday.com, all these things, you can use all these in your workflow. And that's where when I sit down with you, the 30 minutes, I can build you out your perfect workflow that you can, by the end of this year, you can publish a book. You can be the #1 podcaster, whatever your dream is, we can make it happen with this workflow. And I'm so happy that you're here. So please, any questions? Anyone want to jump on? I'm going to stop screen sharing. If I can figure that out clearly. There we go. Okay. Any questions? You'll have questions later, and that's okay. And that's what I really, really want people to take advantage of the student view. Go into Maven and just ask questions. I'll be monitoring it, sending resources. I'll send you everything through there. And yes, Andrea, jump on the call. Please ask the question.
Okay, so this is where my brain's going. Hi, everybody. You know how the other day we were talking about the inner work that I do with people and all this stuff, and a conflict between sense of urgency and the other things for scaling the business. But I know that dealing with chatter that's going on in here actually helps them go faster. Could I use some of this that you've shared us, like the $1 billion prompts and stuff, to go, okay, based on decade I have now working, here's what I've seen from my ideal clients. How do I make this more relevant to them based on what's going on in the world right now? Like, do you get where I'm going with it? Sort of.
100%.
It's a convoluted question, but
no,
like my brain's trying to process.
No, because you are much more powerful than Perplexity or anything. You have all this experience. So what I would do is put a brain dump of Andrea's experience and then ask a research guide or saying, is there data to support this? How can I amplify it? Is there something I'm missing? Now, can you create, and maybe this is just a soundboard, create 10 personas, deeply explain who they are. You read them and you're like, oh my gosh, these are my clients. So now that it's like cohesively written where you intuitively knew it, now it's written in a very clear format and walking through the stages of, apprehension for this person. How do we move through apprehension? For this person, it's like feeling overwhelmed. This person's scared. And so it will have essentially a conversation, a workflow, a sequence to work with that individual based on their initial fundamental road, their blockage, whether it's fear, it's excitement, it's ADHD brain, it's whatever it is, just because that's me. That will help you navigate. So yes, 1,000,000%. And that's why all of you are here, is because you bring so much knowledge in your realm. Yes, still recording. I hope that's okay. We're sharing these questions. Yes, thank you, Carl. Because this might help people that couldn't join. But this is exactly what it's about. It's the partnership of your experience, getting a soundboard with AI that can say, hey, this is exactly or sometimes they'll say, yes, Claire, you're totally on target. Keep going. And I would suggest adding this. So exactly. Can I compile all my various presentation scripts and create a streamlined, cohesive presentation? Great question. Yes, I do this all the time. I've taken 159 presentations and put them all into one. I was saying, what's the pattern here? Who's my demographic? What can I do with this? Can you make this super awesome presentation using all this? Yes, yes, yes. Great question. It's all about taking your entire 10, 15 years of work, putting it into a space and understanding the patterns and how you can improve it and how you can reach more people, more audiences, and to really speak to them. And I ask it to be a very critical evaluator of how I'm doing things. If it cuts out, I'm jumping back in. It says 4 minutes, but again, I'm going to talk to Maven why this is happening. But great question, Leah. Anyone else have questions like that? Because yes, anything you can imagine that you want to do that you could never do before, because it would take hours and hours, or you would be like, I don't even know where to start. Do you want to know something? Oh, yeah, Andrea.
Yeah,
I
I
do.
might jump us off, but like with some of the work that I've done with clients over the years, I have tons of research I've done, like things I've quoted, why alpha brainwave states help us be more creative, more innovative, blah, 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 like all of this stuff. But I nerd out way too much. So could it help me take that, put it into a presentation that now is normal everyday language for entrepreneurs and business owners, not just, Andrea went down the rabbit hole because she's a nerd.
Well, you're speaking to the right person about this because that's my problem. And so I've created an audience on Claude. And that's what I'm going to teach you is that it takes how you think, but how how your audience wants to hear it. That's essentially what I'm going to show you. And that's the power.
Awesome.
This is like, essentially, we're doing a communications course on steroids using AI. So taking, what you're already doing, and leveling it. And Leah, this is exactly, especially for your audience, because Leah's, getting more people to be on this other side. Then this is where I think, Leah, we're going to have some fun with this. So great question. Again, any situation, anything you want the perfect outcome, I will help you create that workflow, but it's so different for each person. And yes, perfect. Carl said he needs a one-page product line card with pics that will be meaningful to a prospective customer. Perfect. That's a great user case. So you say, who are my personas based on what I'm offering? And it'll say, here are your personas. And then you ask it, you say, what are images that will really connect with them? And you'll have an image, and I'll show you how to make these images and build them so that person sees it and they're emotionally driven to call Carl and to work with Carl. It works. It's so powerful. And yes, I'm loving these questions because this is exactly where your work's going to take off and it's going to be so powerful. But again, it starts with the brain dump, your brain dump, that no one can steal that from you. And that's where it all starts with you as a human, and then leveling it up with AI. Awesome. Yes, great questions. Oh, this is so fun. Okay. Oh, yeah, Raul. And if we get kicked off, I'm staying here till 12:30. So don't worry. It's gonna jump off, which is so annoying. This is such a buzzkill. But yes, Raul.
So Claire, so my some context about myself. I am a product manager, and there are a lot of different ideas that I keep exploring, trying out, say what might make sense to even put it in front of executives. But that
Yes.
sometimes also means that I'm doing some deep down research, which might need me first, very high level research, which obviously I can use one of these tools, but then also applying the lens and presenting the documents in a way which also utilizes internal documentation. So I'm just wondering, like, especially the presentation tool that you mentioned, right? So it might be a little tricky to utilize that by pushing some internal information. So how should I think about it?
So this is fantastic or great question. We're gonna jump. It's gonna close in 1 minute.
Is this doable
Pardon?
with is this doable with the free Claude?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is a free, and then if you use a lot of it, you can advance it. But this is how. Okay, so the first part is the brain dump, but the next part is, I would then say, I would say, so the next part is what we talked about, is actually doing research to figure out who these people are. And then we do their persona. So I would say, based on what you have here, Can you put together a research question to figure out who these, actually, you know what? I don't even think we need to do that part. Based on what you know, I would just say, can you give me 10 personas of people coming to my booth? Just first, so we know what the brain dump is, and then we're like, okay, and then you tell me, you're like, yep, I know this person. Yep, I know this person. Mike runs his own electrical company.
I see what it's doing. It's creating names too. Or are these live people that it's found out?
No, these are hypothetical names, but there's so much research. So we got an electrical engineer that is all about this. Mike is all about finding reliable suppliers. Dev is all about reliability and downtime, all these things.
Yeah.
Would this speak to it?
It's funny because I left it deliberately generic at the beginning by saying electrical community, and I'm very specific within that community with control panels, custom design panels. But what I'm seeing here is it's pulling ideas that I hadn't thought about. Like, how would I approach electrical engineer? Well, there's a poke on LinkedIn if I could say the right phrasing that might get a reaction and start a conversation at least.
Yes.
With things I didn't even think of relating to the panels.
But then let's take it further, saying, so you asked it based on these individuals, what would be the best swag that would engage them and,
at a trade show? Yeah. Is it keeping the line of thinking here?
Yes, it keeps it. Nope. I'll say at the trade show. I give it as much. So let's just see. So then you can go into Perplexity and ask the research and find it. So, a smart sensing voltage tester pen, hilarious. Custom power bank with high capacity. This is so funny.
Oh yeah, for charging devices. Yeah.
Heavy duty measuring tape, built-in level, premium multi-tool with wires. This is sort of my expertise, but
it's all my talk. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. And then you can say,
conversation starters. Nice.
Yeah, Brandon Fotel.
You can get opening lines from this as well, right? That's not the same usual. Hi, what brings you here today to the
home? Okay, now say based on these individuals.
I can see burning a lot of hours.
Yeah, I know. What are questions that will be really engaging to start a conversation
with booth visitors, trade booth visitors?
Booth. Yep. So this is so fun. I love this stuff. How much time do you spend sourcing parts for emergency callouts? What's been your biggest challenge with supplier reliability? Because you already know.
Individual person. Oh my goodness.
You could have a cheat sheet for all this. I know. Oh, we can go all day. It's wild. So now, how can I design my booth to appeal to this audiences?
Yeah. It's generating an image?
Yeah. It will do a diagram.
Yeah. Get lost.
That's why I'm saving all this for as we go. I just don't want to skip steps for people. First, we have to do the framework, right? Look what it's done. And it'll tell you, I know. It's wild. So this is now, you can really start. I've done this for house renovations, rethinking a space. So then I would say, have you anticipated for accessibility, right? So just making sure that someone has a bad knee and, so it will say,
point.
So then it will say it's going to regenerate based on accessibility. And these are things.
Wide.
Yeah, and you can see what it's done. so auditory, digital accessibility, staff training. Yeah, it's really cool. Like you're not guessing anymore. Now this is the layout for someone that you've identified. Yeah. Now, what images would be helpful, or how do I create signage that would be ideal for this audience? So then you can go deeper and think about, and then the thing is, Carl, you go and you test it and you'll see what works. And then you go back to Claude and you say, hey, this worked really well. This didn't. And we'll refine it. You keep improving and making your experience better and better over time. Yeah.
Okay. So as a manufacturer, you can probably understand my skepticism, but I thought I have to at least give audience to these conversations and see where it can go, so I'm not left behind. There is merit to this on the sales side, probably on the CRM side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, baseboard website stuff that it can help design. And the other thing I'm thinking of, yeah, wow, so that's nuts.
See what it's done? It's now said energy, smart system. It's easy for these people, and it will tell you exactly what to do. And then it says develop specific copy, create detailed color palette, design infographics, suggest specific interactive technology solutions. It just, yeah.
Can I import my logo and say, you generate these colors based on my logo colors?
Yep. So see right here.
It's small because I see your
it's a little it's a little add-on. Let's see if I can grab something. I don't even know what's going to be in here. This is hilarious because I'm like, okay, well, I'll just pull a deck I've put in. I'll do today's deck. So I've put it in. Can you now create the signage based off my brand colors here? So then I'll do this. Oh yeah, like this is the stuff I am so excited to show people.
Whatever you think, as if you're talking to somebody, you have to get past the point, I think, of talking to a machine or typing to a machine and pretend you're talking to someone.
Yep.
That's been the big hurdle, I think.
Yes, I think so. And I think that's where I was already talking to it like it was a person when it was Google. So see, these were my colors.
Yeah.
And it just did, obviously, so funny because it did human AI, whatever trade booth design, which it then it did discover AI solution smart, so it shows you how. So
yeah,
the sky is the limit, and it's whatever your pain point on this is, like getting engagement at the trade shows. Other people is like someone to open up an email and book a call. Other people will be different things. So this is exactly, you go in, play with it, see what you feel, how it impacts you. If this is okay, and you can say no, I can send you this demo, or I can show the group kind of what our little demo was, if it helps other people to get a sense of how Claude works.
You can do both. If you want to send it out to someone, to the group, that's fine. I would like to have that because it kind of follows the pattern that I wrote down, your 5 steps essentially anyway.
Yeah.
But then you can just go off on 100 tangents and just keep refining it.
And that's where you got to learn to stop at some point. I always have a timer and say, okay, I'm only going to solve this problem for this long, and then I'm going to go test it. Yeah.
So I'll use that example. I'll tease out my line card. That's one thing I've been dreading is like, oh my God, I got to come all my verbiage. I got to pull stuff from my website. I got to find images from my folders, which maybe aren't the best ones necessarily. I'm going to show a box with a bunch of wires to the right crowd that means something, to a different crowd maybe it means nothing.
Exactly.
So I'm just curious to see where this goes. It's going to do the work for me, and then I send it up to my sales guy and go, run with this, buddy.
Well, you're going to have this channel. He can access your sales guy, and he has every persona and knows how to engage with every persona based on their pain point. He just has to ask them a question. He's like, whoop, this is a Sarah. Whoop, this is a Joe. This is, and then he goes and he carries that sales call conversation down the pain point, and you can just ask it, put together a sales call demo with one of the, one of the personas, please, to sell a custom
control
panel. Let's just see, just for fun. So see how you can go in so many directions. You can have scripts made. You can have, marketing copy. You can have your layout for, a trade show. Okay, so this is a mock sales using Frank Morrison. Oh,
he's one of the guys.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we'll go to the top. Here it is. These are his pain points. I have no idea what a legacy system, modern, whatever is.
Yeah, with modem, IoT.
Okay.
System reliability concerns need for real.
Oh, yeah, sorry, it's still going.
Hi,
one. Frank. Thanks for taking the time today. I saw on LinkedIn that you recently posted him at, maybe he's on LinkedIn because we've realized.
Can I pull in Taplio info from LinkedIn?
Pardon?
Can I pull in Taplio information from LinkedIn? Is there any benefit to that?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about this. This is why it's so funny. You'll know this and you'll say, hey, actually, I want to do this. So then there's discovery questions that really lead him into this. And then you the sales call, the presentation of selling them, and then a demo walkthrough, ROI discussion, pricing strategy. So this you can just give to your sales guy and be like, try this.
Okay, that's the first time I've been impressed with AI.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm putting that on the record.
Yeah, the wheels are turning now. Okay.
And this is scratching the surface, right? This is scratching the surface. And I'm really, really excited you're part of this course because I promise you're going to walk away with your entire business revamped with all this stuff.
Well, I think I don't fit the normal demographic maybe for your group because I'm not doing a podcast. I'm not doing a book. I'm not doing any of this stuff. There's some of the, but I have another application where, how do I generate a quote faster? If I supply the data, spit out the quotation form, we put it in a form that has my letterhead and it's whatever, and then that gets, but I don't understand how this is going to integrate with my email, but I guess you have to have it on your...
Yeah, don't worry about that right now because essentially what you're going to do, you're going to take all this and you're going to save it into your Google Drive so that it will connect with your email, or you're just going to copy and paste to start. We don't want to complicate the systems. So right now it's just having all of the stuff, you put it into Google Drive or OneNote, it's there, and then it's connected for your email. It will just be an attachment that goes out or something that you can build. So yeah, don't worry about that. But you can say, give me a quote for a custom control board for
panel,
Frank.
Yeah.
Okay.
See what it comes up with.
Yeah. So anything you have like a question and thinking, okay, how would you do this quote? It will be at least something you can start looking at.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Technofab is actually a company too.
So you can see service, training, pricing, optional enhancements. I know.
That's pretty silly.
Oh, now it's doing a projection, an ROI projection chart.
Of course, why not?
I know.
Gonna spend the 15 grand, how long to make it back, right? Now it's a sale. Done.
So Yeah, I know it's wild. I know. I'm so excited to share the group. And no, you are my perfect person. This is your business like this. People that are content creators, people that anyone that wants to scale what they're already doing and improve their messaging, improving their connections, improving. They really understand they want to stay human and level up using AI. This is exactly, you are the perfect student. You're willing to learn, and that's what this is about. So best of luck. Tell me how it goes, Carl. Any questions, put into our channel on our course, and I'm actually very excited to see what you do. But make sure everything that you do copy and paste it and put it into a document that you can then have for eternity, just in case. I always say these tools, you never know what will happen, but hold on to your data. Yep.
And you seem to be a fan of Google Drive. I might just start a Google Drive just so everything AI is in that spot and everything else is over here.
You know what? That's a great idea. Like I said, you will find over time. I just know that a lot of the tools I talk about, there's a lot of you can see right here, and we're going to go in. Google Drive connects to it. So it will speak right to it, your documents. You don't have to copy and paste. You can just say, hey, can you give me a summary or look at this call and give, it's wild. I'm so excited.
Awesome. I'm actually a little bit excited too. So thank you very much.
Okay. Well, let me know how it goes. Okay. And any questions? Okay. Cheers.
Right.
Thanks, Carl.
Take care. Thank
Bye.
you.